Hey, what is up YouTube? This is Powerhouse here with another one of my videos, and today, freaking finally, I can give you an update on the situation that's going on. So as you can see, I have a new place, or at least this is a new location aside of it. I wish I can just give you a whole tour around the place and show you some really cool stuff in this new place that I got. But the problem is that I have a mouse issue. Because I was awake one night because I was like, you know what, I'm about to go to sleep, and all of a sudden I just see like a mouse just like dart across the room. At first I thought it was a rat because when something moves so fast you can't tell the size of it, but it ended up just being a mouse, and now I have a mouse issue, so I can't show all the parts. I have some traps set up and all that stuff, so hopefully when that gets resolved we can get more into the live action things. And I also just wanted to take this moment not only to thank everyone and give everyone an update, but also to look at where the channel is going to go, kind of like a mid-year update. I wanted to do something like that this year anyway. I think it's always good if channels do give updates in the middle of the year, or quarterly updates or something like that, at least a yearly roundup like I've been doing. But now I could take the time and just kind of explain where certain projects are and where things are going to be headed. So as I said, I finally moved into the new place. I had to move because of rent issues. They were trying to increase the rent to an exorbitant amount, and I was just like, no way. So I moved to the new place, and this place is honestly an upgrade, so I'm glad that I was able to find this. So that's all about that situation. But regarding the videos on my channel, there will be some more sketch reviews coming up. Again, this issue like of moving and stuff really took the bulk of it, so I couldn't really film anything live action. Like I couldn't really film myself in front of the camera just because of all the movement and stuff going on. So there will be reviews of it, and that leads into the next thing, which is the Gothic review, which I've been talking about and kind of teasing for a little bit. I definitely do want to make the Gothic review. Don't get me wrong, like I want to. I've just been having issues with it on Windows 10, but I think I finally have found a solution, because I was able to download it and get it to work on my XP build, which we'll get into that in a bit. But once I was able to get into that, now I have another issue of mouse sensitivity just being incredibly low on that. So hopefully I can finally, you know, get a completely working version of this game. Like, you know, I bought it on GOG.com and I've been using that version. There was a patch for Windows 10, and I may have to go that route ultimately. But yeah, before I get to the XP build, because I really want to talk about that, the next thing is also for early access videos. Those are going to be happening as well. I enjoy doing early access videos, so those won't be going anywhere. Tier list, I think I did a couple this year and they did poorly. Like not a lot of people watched them, so I think I'm going to officially retire them, most likely. Like I said in my last review, I kind of said like I most likely won't do them, and I think this, after the last two, I did a Deus Ex and Fallout, which I was expecting to get a lot of reception on, and I got nothing. So even people that said like, oh, I'm gonna watch this, I gotta watch this, they didn't show up. So who knows what the hell happened. So I kind of just, I think we're just gonna leave that on the wayside. I'm not really a fan of doing tier lists anyway, because it brings a lot of toxicity and I'm just tired of it. So I don't think I'm gonna do any more tier lists. I think I'm just gonna stick more to reviews. And the next thing, also the top list, which those I've been enjoying doing a lot recently. I did a top list of, you know, I did a list of 5 games from the 90s, and then did another one from the 90s, and then one from the 2000s. And honestly, I enjoyed it a lot because I get to go back and play games that I really haven't done, and some games I haven't played in a while. And sometimes when I play it, I'm like, you know, it still holds up. So it was cool taking a trip down memory lane. Especially for the 2000s videos, which leads into when I was playing those games, led into my desire to get back into Windows XP and to have like an XP build. Now I've been getting, a lot of people have been saying that it's cool, but I get it's like they say, that's cool that you got it, but why though? And I'm like, I have to keep explaining this over and over again. So I hope to do this once, and I don't want to answer this again. I've made the XP build because of compatibility issues on certain games. Certain games, for whatever reason, run terribly on Windows 10, or they just don't work at all. Sometimes you can get around this using compatibility mode, but sometimes that doesn't work and that fails to work. Other times you'd have to resort to patches which is kind of a problem I have. I don't want to rely on all these unofficial patches. I'd rather just play the game natively and just be done with it, instead of having to fiddle around with settings, you know, get the patches and still have issues even after the patches. So I wanted to get something that was just natively can run on XP. And plus I have some games on CDs like Scrapland, Oregon Trail, the 4th edition, some of those that I just can't get working on Windows 10 just because of support. I know for Scrapland they have a remastered version, but I already have the game, so I'm like, why would I want to buy a remastered version of it when I literally already have the game? I just can't play it on Windows 10. I think there is a way. I think it's like a no CD patch, but that we'll get into that later. I also have Black and White 2 that I installed on Windows 10, and it installed fine, but when I went to play it, I started having issues, and once again, I had to get a patch. So there's just games that there's so much, like, if there's no like official support, you know, if they're not on GOG, it makes it very hard to actually get them to run on modern systems. Same with Steam as well. So it's just, I have all these games that they don't get a lot of modern support. Sometimes it's some games you can't even find patches at all. So it's like there's games that you're just, you know, there's not really a lot of options you can do. So you have to just have the native software and hope that works. So honestly, I've been pretty excited for the XP build. I mean, I've been playing a ton of games. Star Wars Racer, I couldn't get to work on Windows 10 at all, but here I've been able to win flawlessly. I've been able to get it to work flawlessly with no issues. So I'm honestly pretty excited for this XP build. And I also found a way to capture footage using, I had this, the AverMedia portable. I found a way to be able to get that to work. Basically, it's just, you know, with the 2 HDMIs. That's how I recorded games for the PS4 and for consoles and stuff. So that's definitely what I'm going to use in order to record games from the XP. And honestly, it looks pretty good. It doesn't look great 100% perfect, but it still works pretty well. So I'm excited with this XP build, just kind of, you know, experimenting with it. Regarding specs, it's not the most impressive, and I think if I was to rebuild this again, I probably would go a little bit differently. For the motherboard, I went with a Gigabyte motherboard that has, you know, the processor is AM3, and that was included. That one I bought off of Goodwill. It was included, and that one, the processor was an AMD. I think it was AMD Athlon 2. I think Athlon 2 955 X4 or Phenom X4 955. Was the one I got. I know it's 3.2 gigahertz. I don't have this off the top of my head, so I apologize. But I know for the video card, that one is an NVIDIA GTX 660. Ultimately, I was looking to get like a 680 or maybe like a 780 or something, but that thing is still working pretty well. And, you know, like I said before, it's like some of these games I can also still get to work on Windows 10, but for some reason they run better on older hardware. Unreal Tournament 99 is another one. On the newer, for some reason that intro video lags. The rest of the game works fine, but in XP it's flawless throughout. But it's also 2004 works better on my Windows 10 than it does on my XP. So it's been interesting, like playing around with that piece of it. So that's been pretty cool to, you know, compare the two and see how things are. Regarding the rest of the build, I got a solid state SSD for I think it was Asus or Acer. I think it's Asus, whatever. I'm off today. But I got that. It was 500 gigabyte SSD SATA. So it's been running flawlessly, and I've never had an XP on an SSD, and everything just moves so freaking fast. It's honestly really cool being able to combine modern hardware with old school hardware to get pretty cool results for XP. But like I said, if I was to do this again, oh, and also 4 gigabyte memory, because that's the most you can get anyways from a 32-bit XP build, and a DVD, some cheap DVD, it doesn't really matter. But if I was to do this thing again, I think next time I probably would go with an Intel motherboard. Now, personally, I haven't really used Intel all that often, so that's why I just stayed away from it. I'm more of an AMD guy when it comes to the processors, and NVIDIA when it comes to the video cards. Mainly AMD for processors from cost-wise, and NVIDIA just because I've had better success with NVIDIA, and I haven't had any issues with NVIDIA throughout my whole computer tenure, whatever you want to call it. And also too, AMD has heating issues, and my dad had an AMD, if I recall correctly. My dad had an AMD, and he didn't have like the best of Radeon, and it wasn't giving him the best performances. So, I like to stick with NVIDIA. And if we go far back, give me a Voodoo card. We'll run them Voodoo games. Let me get that glide mode. But now, so I'm pretty excited for what I have planned with the XP build. Hopefully we can get a couple of reviews and games off of it. I feel like this has been more about the XP build than anything else, but it's just more of something that we just wanted to share with you guys, along with the updates of the videos and stuff. But yeah, so hopefully we get back to a regular schedule, once a week. If not, then it'll probably be every other week. It'll see, because with my current job situation, now we're getting back into work. They're bringing people back in. Before I was just at home for most of the time, but now I'm with this new place. I'm further away from my job, and I go in about 3 days a week now, so I'm not home most of the time. So the ability to be able to get videos done is going to be hampered, because now more time at the job, and also traveling and all that stuff is increased now. So there may be a couple weeks where I don't get the videos out. But yeah, basically the point of this was to say, everything should be returning to some sort of normalcy. I'm excited with what the channel is going to come up. Hopefully we can get the Gothic review going sooner rather than later. And I have some other videos that I plan to do. Think about getting into the Divinity series again, talking about some of those games, and going for there. But like I said, I'm excited. I'm glad I finally moved. I just got to deal with this mouse issue, and hopefully I can start making videos. At least live action. I'll do some of the regular videos, like just me talking and stuff like that, like recording and just the usual. But yeah, so thank you guys for always watching, and please like, share, and subscribe as always. This is Powerhouse signing off.